Good morning. I'm just going to talk for a second and let them set my mic because I don't like standing behind a podium. And I do apologize that I'm going to be speaking in English this morning, but I had the misfortune of being born in the prairies. And although my brother's children speak French, my father wasn't as progressive as my brother. And I think we've got the sound just about ready, so I'll begin. I want to start this morning by asking you a very important question. And when I ask the question, some of you, but not all of you, before you even have time to think about the answer yes is going to pop into your mind. And the reason the answer yes is going to pop into your mind is the state and the mainstream media have conditioned you. They have given you the answer. And they've given you the answer so that you actually won't think about the question. And so I'm going to ask the question. I don't want you to give your answer out loud. For some of you, the answer will be yes. For some of you, the answer will be no. But I need you to start thinking about the question, because I'm going to challenge you with it this morning. The question simply is, are you free? Are you free? Now, I ask that question because we have been taught to give our freedom away to be safe. Okay, we will trade our freedom for safety. Governments throughout history have known if they want to get the populace to give their power to the government, to give their freedoms away, they have to create fear. They have to create a safety issue. And so I need you to start understanding that you will give your freedom away, and you have been giving your freedom away to be safe. It's a trade-off that we make. Let me give you some very popular examples. These are laws that I imagine all of you support. So, for example, when I started driving, I didn't have to wear a seatbelt. It wasn't the law. Now the state will punish me if I don't wear a seatbelt. This last winter, I was in Hawaii. I was visiting Dr. Len Horowitz, who is a campaigner against vaccinations. And I noticed that in Hawaii, you don't have to wear motorcycle helmets. They're free not to wear motorcycle helmets. But where I live, the state will actually punish me if I wear a motorcycle helmet. Now, I pick these examples because most of us support seatbelt laws. Most of us support motorcycle helmet laws. But I need you to understand, whether it's a good law or a bad law, or whether you support it or don't support it, that when we encourage the government to pass laws like this, we're actually giving up our freedom. We actually haven't been taught to value the ability to do things without the state punishing us. But we have been taught to give our freedom away every time there's a safety issue. So my point is I need you to start thinking about the fact that you will give your freedom away in the name of safety. Now, I didn't have the time to check, but I'm curious. In Quebec, and I will need somebody to answer this question, are you free to go to a gas station, to drive to a gas station, put gas in your car, and then after you've put gas in the car, can you pay for the gas? Is that legal here? Oh, it is. Okay. So you may not know, but you're living dangerously. That's very reckless. Because I live in British Columbia, and our government has figured out that that's very dangerous behavior. So actually, I will be punished for doing that where I live. I'm still free to drive to a gas station, but I have to pay for the gas before I put it in my car, or the state will punish me, because we've learned in British Columbia that the way you're doing it is very dangerous and reckless. And now you're chuckling, but I imagine very soon the day will come where it'll also be illegal here. In fact, if we all committed to come back here in 10 years and we put blackboards all across the back, we could probably fill the blackboards with freedoms that in 10 years we'll have given up in the name of safety. So, I mean, you have to appreciate that we give up our freedoms every time a safety concern comes up. In fact, we encourage the government to do it. Now, let me tie this into the health field, because everyone here is going to face at least one serious health crisis in their life. Most of us will face several health crises. Now, the issue of how you will be treated when you face a health crisis is actually a freedom issue. Most people think, no, that's a health issue. It's a freedom issue. And let me illustrate. So imagine you're facing a serious health crisis. You're in your home. You're trying to figure out, how am I going to get well? What am I going to do? And there's a knock on the door, and there's a Health Canada inspector there. And he says, hey, no, stop what you're doing. You don't have the right to decide how you're going to address this health crisis. I'm going to decide for you. And this person says, this is the doctor that you're going to see. These are the treatments that your body will be subjected to. And here's the list of chemical pharmaceutical drugs you will take to address the health crisis. Now, if that happened to you, you would be enraged. I mean, everyone in this room would be enraged. Because, in the back of our mind, we have this idea that we have sovereignty over our own bodies. I bet everyone in this room believes that if anyone has the right to decide how they will be treated when they face a health crisis, it's them, right? It's us. In fact, not long ago, probably about 4 months ago, I was doing a series of lectures in BC, and I'm on record as saying, and I no longer believe it, but I was on record of saying that I think, as sheep-like as we are as a people, that if the government actually tried to pass a law saying that they were going to take the right to decide how we would be treated in health crisis away, that we would rebel. And I used to believe that. Now, my belief that we would not allow the government to actually, out in the open, take the power to decide how we'd be treated in a health crisis away has been shaken by two things. The first thing it's been shaken by is Bill C-6. And has anyone here even heard of Bill C-6, the Consumer Protection Act? Only a few little hands went up. So this is a federal law, Consumer Protection Act. It's apparently to protect us for our safety. And it has passed the House of Commons. It's now in the Senate with hardly a word from the Canadian public at all, although it is probably the most serious attack on our fundamental rights and freedoms that we have ever faced as a populace. For example, let's say you're having a barbecue in your backyard, and a regular police officer comes into your yard and sits down at your picnic table, and you don't want him or her there. You can tell him to leave. Like, do you understand the police do not have the right to be on your property unless they've got a search warrant or there's some real pressing circumstance? And if you tell the officer to leave and he or she doesn't, they can actually be charged with criminal trespass. And you can sue them for damages, and a court will give you damages. The police do not have the right to be on your property. But under this new law, Bill C-6, Health Canada inspectors can be on your property. The regular police can't. So Health Canada inspector could sit down at your picnic table while you're having a barbecue, and you could tell him or her to leave, and they could say, no, sorry. You phone the police, and the police will say, there's nothing we can do, because this new law says they are immune from the law of trespass. So this law actually takes away your private enjoyment of property, something that we've enjoyed for as long as we've been here, because apparently consumer products are all of a sudden so dangerous that we don't have to have private enjoyment of our property. Now, some people have said, okay, but they can't go into my house. The law clearly allows them to go into your garage, they can go into any business, they can go to anywhere, any place except your house without a warrant. And some people have said to me, yeah, but our private homes are protected. Well, they actually haven't read the law. Because right now, if the regular police want to get into your home, they have to convince a justice that they are likely to find evidence of a crime. Because we actually so value the privacy of our homes. When you're sitting in the tub having a bubble bath, you don't want the police coming in. This is serious stuff. Now, but Health Canada inspector, under this new law, they don't have to show a justice that they're likely to find evidence of a crime in your home. They just have to show a justice